The IC is in the sign of Sagittarius at 8 degrees in the 4th house. Last week, the IC was in Sagittarius at 1 degree in the 4th house, indicating the energy had just arrived. I used references from the Holy Bible to help elaborate on the energy that was being presented. First scripture I used was in the book of John, chapter 10, verse 27. My sheep listen to my voice, I know them, and they follow me. Also, in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 15, he who has ears to hear, let them hear. This was a clear confirmation of the energy with the IC retrograded in the Lilith placement that I went over. It was time to accept the call and to walk into your God-given purpose with blind faith. We all have callings and purposes, and last week was when those calls went out. We all know the famous quote, "Many are called, but few are chosen." That excerpt comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 14. In the internal version, it states, "For many are invited, but few are chosen." When I say the calls went out last week, what I really mean is that those invitations have been extended to only those who have ears to hear and allow themselves to surrender and to accept. The zodiac sign Sagittarius is ruled by the expansive, spiritual, and truth-seeking planet, Jupiter, that also rules the zodiac sign of Pisces, ruler of the 12th house, that the IC retrograded in Virgo is currently occupying. When I mentioned it was time to snap out of it and get back in alignment with yourself and develop self-improvement, I wasn't lying. When I mentioned how I was having internal battles with myself to stop smoking, being lazy, depressed, and overeating, it's clear I wasn't talking to or battling myself. What most do not want to understand is that when you are called, invited, and chosen, you simply cannot exert free will at that point. In 3D terms, when we accept a job offer, we all know we have to get prepared to fulfill the role. Some jobs require you to move. Some require a drug test. Other jobs demand more of you. Some require degrees, and others simply require perfect attendance. Most adhere to these requirements, no questions asked, because the salary and benefits the job provides in return of your service and commitment. The same should be understood and respected when we are talking in spiritual, when we are talking about spiritual invitations, callings, and with being chosen. The moment you accept your calling, the main rule to live by is you are in this world, but not of it. In the book of John, chapter 17, verse 11 through 14 and 15, it states, "I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from evil. You should know I am not religious, nor do I claim Christianity. However, I am able to hear the voice of God in all things that I am required to hear. I know wisdom from higher counsel when I hear it, and for that reason, I use Bible references to help explain the energy present. With the IC in Sagittarius at 8 degrees now, this indicates your faith should be stronger and that you are getting prepared to fulfill the role you have accepted, just like you would with a new job or even the first day of a semester in college. By next week, the energy will be within the second decan that is ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of action, strength, survival, courage, conflict, and willpower. What this means officially for those who have accepted the invitation is simply this: new levels, new devils. I remember back when I worked for Bank of America, I was offered a promotion. I accepted the promotion and enjoyed the pay raise. I received a week of training, which is absurdly a short time frame for training. However, that was all I was given. After that week, I was thrown into my new role and newfound responsibilities. The expectations of the role was much harder, and after a month, I requested to go back to my prior role. In hindsight, I can admit I couldn't handle the pressure. You can imagine that my request was denied, and I couldn't go backwards. I was forced to continue on my new level and the many devils I was fighting in order to keep the job. Working for Bank of America was not my life's purpose or destiny, and I knew that. One day I walked into work, and after 2 phone calls, I sent my resignation letter and walked out, and at the time felt defeated. Speed up to a year now, I've accepted my true purpose, my true God-given purpose, doing tarot and astrology. And the workload is much more demanding, but I wake up every day excited to get what I can done. I'm not complaining, nor do I feel stressed or burdened anymore. Each day, what was hard the previous day, I now find easy the following day. I say all this to say that when you are not living in your purpose due to ignoring the call, due to superficial benefits, recognition, and rewards, you will feel defeated and never satisfied. I make much less now, but I have more time, energy, and I am truly passionate about what it is that I do. In life, there will always be struggles and devils, but when you are supported by God who created those devils, you cannot lose. Those devils cannot touch you. Before, I was not supported or protected, and I was surrounded by evil left and right. I mentioned earlier with the IC retrograded in Virgo placement that I was under stress and started smoking and overeating. However, my needs were provided for in time. When I was working for Bank of America making much more, I was still smoking and overeating, never happy or satisfied, always tired and weighed down. I had anxiety waking up, knowing I had to go to work, and then after work, I had more anxiety knowing I had to do this all over again the next day. In conclusion, you can start now by being honest with yourself about your life and what influences your decisions. Do you find yourself unhappy and weighed down, constantly fighting demons that always win? Or are you waking up every day passionate, feeling safe and living in your God-given purpose? Most choose the world due to money and what it brings. Like I've said, I make much less, but I'm never lacking. All my bills are paid somehow, but I know how, each month, and I have food in my fridge. My spiritual gifts are increasing by the hour, in which I use to generate income to support myself in peace. My twin flame makes over $100,000 a year, but the man is miserable and doesn't know where his money goes. He admitted to me the last time we spoke how he always wondered how I'm able to support myself. Meanwhile, he works 12 to 16-hour days and still doesn't seem to have enough or be happy. I tried to teach and hold his hand on the spiritual journey, but I have officially let him go because he was bringing the world into our union, devils, confusion, and unhappiness included. He was attempting to hold me back from my invitation, expansion, and spiritual path, and I had to sacrifice him as hard as it was. I have accepted my spiritual job offer, and it requires me to move, expand, seek, and live in my utmost truth, and unfortunately, he cannot join me.